right, it's one of those mornings where I wake up and for whatever reason, I have to add a microphone to every scene. Why? What happens in the software world that just says, you know what, the microphone's not going to work anymore. I don't know what goes on in that world. But anyways, welcome to Forex.Today. So when I switch over to the disclaimer, I'm going to have to take some time and add a microphone. And then when I go to the full webcam where I say hello, I'm going to have to add a microphone. And then when we get to the charts where I do my analysis, I'm going to have to add the microphone. So bear with me. So without further ado, welcome to Forex.Today, the YouTube community of almost 20,000 subscribers. That's a lot of foreign exchange traders. What percentage of the foreign exchange market is it? I don't know, but that's a lot of Forex traders, man. Holy smokes, this is a niche market, and that's a lot of us. My volume is low, really? Is it right? Let's try this. How's that volume? Is that better? Has that changed anything? I have to fiddle with my mic. It's all new settings. Let me know if that's any better. It looks like I have it full blast. And it's not redlining though. So I don't know what the new settings are. I'll have to mess with it. But feel free to give me some feedback. So anyways, let's move on. Let's get on with it. Hello. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. But please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term. Never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Yeah, it does look like the volume is low. Low. There's some setting somewhere on this. I don't know if that's better. No. Man. How about that? It's all the same, isn't it? In sooth, I know not why I am so sad. Anyways, let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Okay, there we go. Hey, my name is Wayne. Let me know how I can help. Ask some questions today. Technical analysis, fundamental analysis are key skills that I think you're going to need. Also, trader psychology, that's a little more difficult to do or to teach, but one of the things I'm learning or reviewing or reading about is Stoicism, going back to Marcus Aurelius. Interesting thing is he was one of the good emperors of Rome near the end of the Roman Empire. I think Constantine was the last emperor. Anyways, Marcus Aurelius was a leader at a time when his empire was suffering from war, not him battling the seven Germanic tribes, but instead lots of smaller wars within the territory, kind of like the Ukraine. But at the same time, Rome was suffering from a plague. Wow, that's kind of similar. That's kind of interesting, right? So anyways, reading Marcus Aurelius. So maybe we can borrow from some of his teachings on trader psychology. I don't know. We'll see. Pretty interesting. So anyways, ask questions, get involved. I'll do my best to help. You're the boss. I'm a humble servant. I'm here to be a resource for your Forex trading improvement. There are other resources available besides these live streams, but I would appreciate if you subscribed. If you need additional resources, well, just look in the description below the video. There's a link to my book, Strategic and Tactical Forex Trading. There's a link to my chart templates at metatraders.com. There's a link to a free training course. It's about an hour and a half, not quite an hour and a half. That's cool. Hey, that's pretty good. That's at youtube.com/fxbootcamp. If you'd like premium training, over 65 hours of hardcore, easy to digest, yet in many cases college level courses on things like fundamental analysis, macroeconomics, day trading, swing trading, all that kind of stuff, all the way down to the basics of like what are moving averages, what's a pitchfork, what are pivot points. All that's covered in those courses for a whopping $88. That link is fxbootcamp.com. And then, of course, link to tradersway.com, an ethical, trustworthy foreign exchange broker that has fast execution speeds, narrow spreads, huge swaps, but let me repeat, ethical and trustworthy. I don't believe they trade against their clients like most brokers do. Just think about that. So then what's their business model based on? Being symbiotic, meaning the best case scenario for them is for you to succeed and trade with them for years and years and years as a happy, successful client. Well, that's what I want. Tradersway.com. Link is in the description below. All right, here we go. So it does look like the volume's low. I don't know why. I don't know why she swallowed a fly. I'm going to keep clicking buttons. I don't think any of these buttons do anything. I can't tell. I'm probably making it 10 times worse. Yeah, Greg, it's a one or none. All right, so let's see what you guys are up to. Yep, volume is low and it's maxed here. Maybe I can change it in the settings. Hang on, properties. That looks maxed. Hey, I think it's got the wrong microphone. Testing. It's the wrong microphone, that's why. This mic's not even registering. I think you're over here. Yeah, it's webcam. What the heck? It picked the wrong one. So maybe this mic just isn't even registering today. Well, maybe I can at least now adjust that microphone. Can I make that one louder? I don't think so. All right. So yeah, so anyway, I don't need that in my face. Let me try to fix this. This is weird. Software just changed today. Add source, add new source, name it. Add device. Yeah, I don't think, yeah, it's just this isn't registering anymore. Well, there's nothing I can do about it today. Is it unbearable? Yeah, it sounds like I'm in another room. It's because I decided to use the webcam today, and for some reason I'm not able to change it. No, it's not a volume mixer. It's the fact that it's 8 feet away from me. Well, is it unbearable? Yeah, it's quiet, but it's okay. I'll even try to sit closer. All right. So, anyways, that's probably better, especially if I yell. All right. So let's just try to get through it. Yeah, it sounds different, but we'll get there. It's just a software failure. All right. So let's see what's on your mind today. Euro. Okay. Gotcha. Piggy. Makes sense. Aussie. Nobody on Kitty Cat. Interesting. Something right in the world today. I don't know what it is. All right, let's take a look at the calendar. All right. Living on the edge. Do, 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 do. Living on the edge. All right, let's take a look at what we got going on in the world. I didn't. So, like, I was going to look at Euro. I thought there was Eurozone CPI today, and I don't see it here. Money supply, GDP I get. %5 inflation in Europe is amazing because not long ago they had zippity zip zilch. So this is German CPI, which, right? Which hasn't printed here yet, which is kind of interesting. So a lot of news in just a few minutes, so I guess maybe we should try that. What time is it actually? Yeah, it's pretty close. We're, what, a couple of minutes away? Yeah, PCE, right? That's good because PCE is what the Fed uses as their measure of inflation. So when they say inflation, you're probably thinking CPI. The Fed uses PCE. So anyways, yeah, I must be a little off today. Like I thought there was Eurozone CPI. I just don't see it. Yeah, later. Cool. So let's get on with the dollar index here. Oh, snicker schnocker. Look at that. Oh, what? That's me not in a trade. Yay! Me not in a trade. Gold. Dang it. So close so far. Yeah, so Pete, did it come out and it's just not on the calendar? That's interesting. All right, we're getting pretty close to the news. It's just all I'm waiting for, really. I don't even know what time it is. It's already passed, isn't it? Interesting. Yeah, no, it's all right. You know. Do 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 do. It's funny. I was waiting to get the news from TV, but it's just they haven't even covered it yet. Euro CPI year over year 7.5. Right. Yeah. And that's really hot, especially at a time of potentially slowing growth. So CNBC didn't even cover the PCE release. How interesting is that? All right, so Adams says 7.5, Brinsley says 2.3. Okay, what does that tell you? If it wasn't for high oil prices and food prices, which are a supply chain issue, inflation would be pretty close to where target GDP would be, which would be okay. It'd be good. That'd be fine. So if we can get, if we can weather the storm, it'll work itself out. What's up, Highlander? Yeah, that's an old gold mining town, I believe. Yeah, enjoy yourself. Have a good time. I think it's very pretty up there. Parts of Georgia, there's lots of parts of Georgia that are incredibly beautiful. I think I'm going to take my son to the Beretta shooting grounds so we can do some clay shooting. And it's in the middle of nowhere, Georgia, and it's just absolutely stunningly beautiful. I'll give you an example. I'll show you the club that we go to for shooting. Because many of you might not. You may not know what Georgia looks like. You're like, okay, you've never been there before. So this is the club we go to for shooting. I don't know why it put me there. Look at this. This is what Georgia looks like. This is our shooting club. Place is awesome. Yeah, it looks terrible, right? Yeah, Georgia's pretty, I'm telling you. Yeah, right? So anyways, yeah, enjoy yourself. That's in a different part of Georgia, but not too far off. So enjoy it, Highlander. It's kind of like Detroit, but different. Very similar to Detroit, only a little different. Yeah. What's the climate like year round? It's warm and humid. I wouldn't say hot and humid in Georgia, but it's warm and humid. And because like hot would be like you go to Arizona and it's 110 or hotter. Georgia never even hits 100. So much, Chicago is probably hotter than Atlanta and probably more humid. But everyone complains about Atlanta being hot and humid. I'm like, Chicago's hot and humid. Anyways, it rains more here than it does in Seattle. So therefore, that's where the humidity comes from. It's not that we live in a swamp. That would be humid, right? Florida is humid. Hey, it rains here a lot. So everything is green and lush. It rains at night, so it's beautiful during the day. It rarely gets hotter than 92 in the summer. And then in winter, it's just cold enough where you might get snow one day if you're lucky. So, hey, it's pretty cool. All right, so anyway, so I'm a buyer of the buck. Look at this. Oh, gee, criminy. Look at Eurodollar coming down. Criminy. So I got this one kicking off the 21 for Piggy, but for Schnizzle Schnucker. Son of a. Anywho, I guess I gotta let it go. So let me kill this limit order. I don't want to leave it there over the weekend by accident. Missed it. The first in America? What's the first in America? Let me move my stop. I don't know. I'm not feeling. I'm just going to leave it there. Well, you know what? Let's do it this way. It's the relative change, or the rate of change. It's the rate of change in the interest rate differential. Yeah, Georgia has red clay. Yeah. So it's for example, euro versus dollar. It's a higher neutral rate, and the rate of change, right, is higher, and therefore, yeah. The thing is, on May 5th, the Fed might deliver something different than what's priced in. So right now, 0.5% is priced in, but what if the Fed does 0.25? Then the dollar's overvalued. What if they do 0.75? Then the dollar's undervalued. What's a college town? Atlanta? Not Delong. Is Delonia? Delonia? I don't know. I don't know anything about that town. But yeah, so yeah, I'm a buyer of the buck for sure. Normally I'm a seller, but you know, one of the things we focus a lot on the day trading group is just trading reality, not the model. So here's what the model would say. Here's what I'm going to do next April. You ready? I would buy here and I would buy here without hesitation. Did you know that? That would be the plan. I already know my plan for next April. And so the trick is, that's the model. The trick to everything is trading reality. Okay? And so I effed up here and I missed the 21. I effed it up. I missed it. Because remember, last night I placed the trade and I guesstimated where it would be, and I guessed about apparently 10 pips wrong. Missed my trade. Boo-hoo. Loo-hoo, sir. Yep. Master said, hey, 0.25 would be great for gradual growth. I agree. I think the market is afraid and making mistakes. Okay. Okay. And I'm just sitting and waiting. Now I'm caught between a rock and a hard place on this one. Okay, there's dual pressures going on at the moment. A bull is going to buy this. And I'm short, so I'm in trouble, so to speak. But if you look at this, and 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 you look at this, you look at this, and you look at this, pretty reasonable to think that there's some potential, especially if you're already a bear, for this. Okay, so there you go. Okay, you see? So it ain't working, but it ain't bad. It can't be a bad trade. It's plausible, don't you think? How much difference does it make? Okay. So, yeah, we'll just see. We'll just see. It might take a while to roll that sucker over. Okay. So, yeah. Okay, I can see the bullish point of view, though. I really can. Analyzing this on a daily, you can see we bottomed here. If it was a bear would have taken this down to the 55 at least, right? And now we have a high higher than this high, so that would probably say, okay, so let's just change colors. Now that you see that high is higher than that high, you take this high and that low, and you do a Fibonacci this way. Okay? I got you. Now, also, a bear is going to, a longer term bear is going to do something like this. And no, it's very similar to what I just said, but using a slightly different version of price action. So you're like, well, Wayne, which one? Well, that is based on your bias. Okay? So we are currently on yearly M4. The top is currently, so this is where we are now, yearly R2. So somebody could say, this was key, yearly R2. We got the lower low, so you set up the lower high off the yearly M4. The same way you would do this on a day chart or a weekly swing. Okay, this is a position trade. Now the interesting thing is, if this holds, I can be in this for quite some time. The challenge that we're facing, okay, is 10y, okay, BOJ, okay, I guess we will put BOJ, JGB, YCC. Or you could write this different. How about BOJYCC10JGB, JGB. And that is what puts us this way. If you get rid of that, okay, that's the fundamental side of that. And then more seasonal is this. So we got to be careful, right? Yeah, sure. You can do exotics. Let's go. We'll do that after. I'm just kind of watching where we're kicking around some of these areas. Similar fashion to the other one, I'm watching the fib levels, but as a bear, we have to breach the 21, right? We have to come down to the 55, and then come up, and then down, and then, okay? So really just kind of hanging in there. How much difference does it make? All right. Is it difference or indifference? How much indifference? Sounds like he says difference. All right. La 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 la. What else is going on? Same thing here. You know, if I was thinking this is a top and somewhere in here would be a lower high, how likely is it that I would believe that this is a triple top with a lower low? And if you think it's pretty high, then you must understand that this is, in the minds of a bear, in play. Okay? Okay? So, again, you might disagree with that, but certainly that's what a bear would be thinking. Huh? Well, in this case, define beta if you're talking about Forex, Master Trader. Oops, we wanted exotics, right? And beta defined, what is your base? What's your benchmark if you're saying these are high beta? Relative to what? What I'm getting at is, what do you mean by high beta? Because that, if you said that to about, let's say, Amazon stock, and you're like, oh, it's a high beta, well, then I know exactly what you mean. But in Forex, I'm not sure what you're meaning, and so I'm just getting to the definition. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm just trying to understand. Yeah, no, I get that. If you said that, the high beta part, you lost me. Defined by what? Okay, that's what you might expect technically. In fact, I'd even have it come up higher. That'd be interesting if you're a bear on this. Okay, so like on a daily time frame, right? On a daily time frame, the price action is paying attention to this level here. Okay? Therefore, the play that's setting up is this, based on price action. Remember, price action is, it lacks bias. It just, right? So it's not thinking up or down. It's not thinking yield differential. It's just the higher high sets up the higher low. There's no bias. All right, cool. So, all right, so Master Trader, all right, so the reason, I don't know what the beta is, and let me explain just for the conversation of beta. Okay, beta, okay, when somebody says high beta, this is what it means. There's a benchmark, something observable. Typically, when someone says high beta, they're representing a stock. So what does that mean? Okay, you look, first of all, you have to have a benchmark. So you have the S&P 500. Sorry, SP 500. Okay? And on any given day, it moves up, it moves down, it moves up, it moves down, it moves up, move down, move up. And that is the beta. The beta is the S&P 500, so you have your observable. Richard, it's not specifically volatility. It's a relative question. Okay? So, relative to what? So if that's the S&P 500, what you do is you measure the S&P 500 over time and you come up with a volatility number. Okay? And so now, if there's high vol, or high beta, okay, low beta, and then beta. What does this mean? Well, relative to the S&P 500, let's say when the S&P 500 moves 1%, how much does the other stocks move? Okay, low beta would be, let's say, 0.5% change when the S&P 500 moves 1%. This low beta, and that's beta, not a P, okay? This low beta stock would move 0.5%, half as much as the S&P 500. So the beta is the market. That's why I'm like, well, what do you mean by high beta when you're talking about Forex? Well, compared to what? What's your benchmark? Is that the dollar index? I mean, I don't know. Maybe, probably, but still, I wanted to know because I wanted to understand what Master Trader was getting at. Now, a high beta stock, in contrast, if the S&P 500, which is your benchmark, the beta, if the S&P 500 moves 1% and this moves 1.5% or 2%, see, if it moved 2%, it's double the average, and that's extremely high. And this is a question of like portfolio construction, okay? Where you want to, if you believe the stock market's going to go up and up and up and up, you can throw in some high beta stock in there to really capture, because you know if you have a 5% month in the S&P 500, a portfolio with more high beta stocks would have a 6 or 7% return for that month, even better. And now you beat the benchmark. But in times where you believe the stock market's going to fall, you probably want to, you want to dump your high beta and buy up some low beta, so that if the S&P 500 loses 10%, you only lose 5%, 6%. And once again, you outperform the beta. Okay, beta mean in the market. So I was just trying to understand Master Trader. And right, so I don't know if it's a language. I don't know if it's someone else's language, right? If someone else is throwing out in Forex, so if there's another YouTube guru that's saying, oh, well, the high beta stocks or the high beta currencies, I'm like, I don't know. I don't understand what you mean. I need more information. Okay. And, it could just be some dude on YouTube that has not a lot of experience in Forex, but has a million people watching him trade on YouTube, and he's confusing it with volatility. And it's not volatility. It's a sort of a differential. It's a measure of two things. It's relative volatility used in portfolio construction, and it wouldn't be the right language to use in Forex, but whatever. I don't know. So my goal is to understand what Master Trader is saying, so that we can have a good conversation. So that's that. So the high, you might say Aussie, Aussie dollar versus a dollar index, and that maybe this has higher volatility than that. Maybe. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I mean, maybe. Okay, cool. Then maybe I understand. Okay, but whatever. Okay. Maybe another version would be currency pairs that have a high average daily range or an average true range. Okay? But then I still wouldn't call them beta, because that right? So I get it. Like pound dollar and pound yen moves more than USD yen, right? For sure, right? But I wouldn't describe it that. It's just the wrong language. A high beta. So, anyways, whatever. Okay, cool. All right. Going back to our meeting last night, this was something we pointed out. Cool, dude. So now what? Bring it around? Dixie is the index. Oh, it could be the index. Yes, it could be. Okay, what do you think about that? Sell it, sell it at 16. Okay, your call. Okay, there we go. Oil going up. Everybody in the day trading group and the swing trading group knows exactly why this is occurring. Okay? One of the things we've gone as so far is me giving an example how you could sit down with a potential client, you're trying to raise money, and you're having dinner, you got a glass of wine going, you got a nice steak going, and they lean forward and they're like, oh, and they're cutting their steak. Hey, what do you think about oil? And that you can pull out a pen and a napkin off the table because you have paper napkins in this steak joint, and you draw a chart. Okay, the 5-year average with a standard deviation above and below for oil inventories, and then where we are now relative to the 5-year historical average, and you can price out exactly why this is going up. This is the level of detail we cover in the day trading group and the swing trading group, where you're actually like raising money from a client because you're at least 1% smarter. You don't have to be the smartest person in the world, but when they say, oh, hey, so what do you think about oil? You could bust out a PowerPoint presentation right then and there and outline the whole thing. Talk about, let's say, the cycle, like what we call seasonality. You can bust out the 5-year standard deviation of supply. You can talk about current demand and future demand. You could do a supply and demand chart, and the whole thing is you are a buyer and have been a buyer. And everybody else won't be able to do that. If you like that idea, why don't you join one of my live trading groups? Okay? Neutral here. Master! Master! Well, more importantly, like it's the details, not the opinion, right, Master Trader? So you have to do things like to say, well, if you read the latest Energy Information Agency report, they analyzed 42 different oil producers in the United States that are publicly traded. And this is the type of information they found. The report showed blah, 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 blah. It's all about setting the stage. What it says is, I'm doing the work on stuff you've never even thought about. And it's not an opinion that gets you to your conclusion, it's facts. And that you're doing the right type of work and making the right type of conclusions that this potential investor would appreciate when you're managing their money. And that you're not just some, bullshit opinionated person or a cowboy, a reckless cowboy with the money making, bets. They're like, damn, son, you is smart. Here's my money. And that's right. So you got to have all of that put together, right? Because ultimately, they don't know the future. So when you're saying things like, I think oil will go up, they're like, yeah, okay, that's true, but maybe not. And they discount everything. But if you talk about the work you've done to get to that opinion, all they hear is, that's smart, that's work, those are facts, and I never thought of that, and that's really interesting, and that's the part they take away. Not your opinion, but how you got to your conclusion. And it sounds like legitimate analysis of facts. And that's what they like. More than your opinion of up, down, or sideways. Right? So that's how you gotta set the stage. All right, and gold might be trying, right? We know we're kind of sort of at a bottomish area, technically speaking, right? The way you set this up now is maybe some of this. Could be a rabbit, could be. Okay? Thank you, Henry. Sometimes you can't trade it on your own. You trade all the time, you and I. We're on the same pair. But you're such a fool to trade it like you do. Hang on, I think I gotta go. I have a meeting with my Masons and I want to get that done before the stock market opens. So I think I covered everything here. We did dollar pairs, yen pairs, gold, oil, Bitcoin, and exotics. Dude, that sounds like a full day. So, oh, I forgot to help YouTube make money. I feel bad for Google. Here we go. Hang on. So with that, I want to thank you for being part of my life and this community. I believe the community is making the world a better place. This is my contribution to society, and I've been committed for over 20 years of giving back to the Forex community. So thank you for being a part of this really cool journey. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Again, look at the links in the description below. There's lots of different resources. I think when you see all the prices for the things you have to pay for, you'll be shocked at how low the prices are. and then it'll be self-evident that this is about helping you, right? So if you're sort of reluctant because you've been burned by a bunch of gurus, I'm not, maybe try something out. Drop your guard just a little bit. Try something out and see if I can help. See if that's it. See if I can help. So, peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. You're awesome. See you Monday.